Hello everyone, Targun here. Today I want to talk about something which I think went over everyone's head, and that is Orion's intro, the song by Metallica. Orion is an instrumental composed by Burton, and although all the sounds and parts have been discovered and recreated by fans, the intro remains a mystery. Let's take a quick listen. Now you see, Burton is famously known for heavily using fuzz wah in his sound, particularly Morley power fuzz wah, and for the longest time it was believed that the intro sound is achieved the same way, a bass going through a fuzz pedal, and that's the sound. Everyone says this, but, and it's a big but, I wasn't able to hear any bass in it. I tried different pedals, different amps, different VSTs and simulators, but I was never able to get the sound. So I left it, decided that it's some studio engineer mystery, some sort of trickery that they've done, and they decided to not share it with the fans. You know, that's our sound, we don't want to tell you how it was done. Until I've heard the album Power and the Passion by the band Eloy, and there's this particular sound in the intro. Yeah, I was amazed too. It's the same sound, but how did they do it? In this song, we can hear guitar, drums, bass, and then there's the organ. The sound that you hear is coming from an organ going through a distortion pedal, but I still had doubts. How could this be if everyone strongly believes that it's bass? So I left it again until Metallica themselves released the original demo of the Orion, and there it was, the clean organ sound on the intro. So that's when I got sure about it. But how was it done? It's a stereo sound, not like a Leslie amp recorded with two mics, but two separate recordings. So they've recorded the same part two times to create this stereo effect. And you may ask, what sort of distortion was used? I'm not sure about that. It may be the sound of an overloaded amp, it may be a pedal, I can't say for sure, but we can achieve the same result with a pedal. And the last question is there any bass involved? If you ask me, I say no. Everything you hear is coming from an electric organ, probably a Hammond organ. You know, that's what everyone used back in the day. If you pay attention, you can hear the clean lower harmonics of the organ and everything in between, which can only be achieved with an organ and the many reeds it has. Now, let's recreate it. I'm using Arturia's B3V program right here, which simulates a Hammond organ, specifically a B3 model. This specific model was very common back in the day, and it could have been the organ that they've used on the recording, but we're not sure. It could have been a synth, it could have been another organ, but this is what we're using today to recreate the sound. Now, to recreate the sound, we have to set up our instrument first. I've set mine to prog rock distortion preset. You can find it right here. Prog rock distortion. You can change it if you want to, but this is the one that I've chosen. The percussion is off. This is my master volume, preamp volume. These reeds are the ones that are connected to the lower key bed. We don't need them. But these are the ones that are connected to the upper key bed. Now these are the ones that we need to set up. These are my settings, and you can see them right here if you want to do it like this. If you want to change them, go ahead, feel free to do it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's see how it sounds. It sounds pretty close, but it's not exact. It's lacking something, it's missing something. Now what's that? This is where the FX tabs comes into play. We click on it, and you see there's this. If you don't have distortion right here, you can find it right here. Select it, turn it on. These are my settings. You can change this if you want to. You can do whatever you want. You can change your room setting, but you know, these are the settings that I've chosen. Now let's see how it sounds.
play the intro, we need to hold down on B. B is consistent. It's always there, it never changes. What changes are the octaves. What are the octaves? E, D, D sharp, or E flat if you prefer it that way. So we play this. We go to D, and then D sharp. As simple as that. I don't know where this thing that Cliff Burton played this on bass originates from, but it's not played on bass. Whether you like it or not, when you play a note on bass, it decays after time. The volume goes down, it doesn't stay consistent. That consistency can be achieved with an organ. I'm a bass player myself, I should know it. If it could have been done on bass, I would have already done it, but it can't be done, trust me. And if you need more proof, you can analyze the song itself. If you listen to it, every note, every harmonic, everything that you hear on the intro is consistent. It doesn't go down, the volume doesn't change, and that's not how a bass works. That's how an organ works, that's how a synth works. It stays consistent, the volume doesn't change. And also we have the demo version of Orion, which you can clearly hear a clean organ sound on the intro. And if that's not enough to convince you, then I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, we can move to the next steps. I want to recreate the intro for you. How I think they've done it is they've recorded two separate tracks. Rather than using a Leslie amplifier to recreate a stereo effect, they recorded two separate tracks to create that stereo effect.
Now let's record it. I'm gonna pan this recording to one side, and I'm gonna pan this recording to the other side. Now let's take a listen. And we're done, folks. This is how the Orion intro was made. No bass, no Morley Power fuzzball, only an electric organ.